So the big question, where does Syria get its chemical weapons? Well, I know one place, Iraq. Remember the big discussion of the WMD several years ago? What led us to war? Believe it or not, a lot of that crap ended up in Syria. Let me give you the history. First, back when Bill Clinton was president, he bombed Iraq in 1998. Airstrikes aimed at wiping out the WMD because you see at that time there were stockpiles. So buildings had been built, they loaded them up with, whether it be sarin gas bombs or whatever it was, and so we bombed that. Now, if you believe we got all of the WMD, then you're pretty ignorant. Also, if you think Saddam was dumb after that and did nothing to take care of the rest of it, then you're even more ignorant. He did really three clear things. First, he got rid of all the UN inspectors because they were nosing around and finding this stuff. So he kicked all of those out. We had no spies there, so nobody knew on the ground really where stuff was or what was going on. The second thing he did was he said to his army, guys, we cannot have stockpiles. That's too easy of a target for the American airstrikes. And lastly, so they used probably hundreds of locations, limited quantities, and on top of that, they made them mobile. They had vehicles that could move this stuff around, so in the event of an airstrike, they could say, hey, get them out of Dodge, and they could just move them. I laughed. I literally laughed when I watched the news after the war, and we had our inspectors searching for stockpiles. I just kept saying, come on, guys. Why would Saddam be that stupid, knowing that we could hit those with airstrikes? So there we have that story. By the way, I thought that was a dumb reason to take Saddam out anyway. I mean, he had like the fourth or fifth largest army in the world, had proven he was aggressive and taken over other countries. He absolutely was a threat to the world. So I have no doubts that he needed to be taken out. And certainly there's no threat today. So that part I'm okay with. But back to the WMD. He certainly had it. Well, there was a general who wrote a book, which I read back in 2006. His name was George Sada. He was a general in the Iraqi Air Force, and he was retired at the time of the war. Saddam wanted him to come back and lead his war effort with the Air Force. He didn't want to, so he defected. So a couple of years later, he wrote this book, and he told in clear, concise, logical terms what happened to the WMD. It was simply this. We established a no-fly zone, so the only planes allowed out of Iraq during that time were passenger planes. So the Iraqi army took some passenger planes, took out all the seats, put in the WMD, and then sent them over to his BFF, Assad in Syria. I mean, Assad was right next door, and they could have never transferred that by ground vehicle because they would have been stopped at the border. So this made it all easy. And they are BFFs, by the way. You know why? Both of them are a part of what's called the Ba'ath Party. And just so you know, all the Islamic terrorist groups, they hate the Ba'ath Party because it's secular. So Saddam, Assad, both in that. I mean, they were probably watching Monday Night Football together. So he was the natural destination, Assad was, in Syria for the WMD. And so this attack recently with the sarin gas, the death of kids, that very well could have come from Iraq. And so for me, and by the way, as a dad, I don't understand the big cry out of the chemical weapon thing. If you kill my kids, why do I care whether it's by knife, gun, or chemical weapons? Kill my kids. But the world gets such a rise. I mean, we get angry if chemical weapons are used. I mean, you can wipe out a bunch of kids. We're okay with that. Don't use chemical weapons, though. I've never got that argument. And so it does, for me, beg the question, why did Assad use chemical weapons? I mean, he knows it gets a rise out of the world. Does he really want that? Does he want the spotlight? Did he do it to test Trump, the new president? Did he do it to instill fear in the rebels like they didn't have enough already? I don't know, but that's a question that should be answered. But as far as where, Assad got the weapons, that's an easy one. Good old Iraq, as well as Russia, and who knows where else. Easy answer.